McDermott's letting them see that guy was off the ground and they forced the fumble. That is a total miss by not only the officials on the field, but also New York if they don't review that. That is an outrage.
I like to think that when Steve Tasker played for the Bills, that he could do that also then. That as a player, he might.
That he would have sounded like that.
He would have sounded just like that.
Yeah, it's
just pacing up and down the sideline,
right. Maybe spinning around a little circle while he's doing it.
Yeah,
I can see it. Yeah.
He's right.
They did end up reviewing it. The Bills ended up not being charged a timeout, but it should not have taken that. I mean, that play should have been immediately under review, not a play that looked like Sean McDermott needed to stop. Hey, you should look at this. Like, they should have been looking at it and should have stopped the play before Indianapolis had snapped the ball, because you know how this league goes. Like, if they don't get that word in time and they snap that, well, too bad. Procedure says that you have to going now, and there's no looking back at that play. So it was, it didn't go their way anyways. But what a bad job by the officials all around, like Steve said there.
If it's our team that loses this game, if we're the Colts, the story of that play is that the Colts had a chance to snap the ball and they didn't. Now they get the call anyway. I mean, it looked like a fumble to me. They get the call anyway. I thought we were going to get the play overturned and the Bills would kneel, and that was it.
Yeah.
And if that's the result, how does Indianapolis not snap that ball? I mean, who cares what the play is? I know it's not who cares, but that's your job right there, is to get the. This is Phillip Rivers' career. This is Phillip Rivers' career. It's just like every year he's in the playoffs and it's the end of the game and his team is losing. And they lose. Not always. And you're like, wow, this guy, he's 39 now, Rivers. Like, he's had a fabulous career, but you could also say this is always what happens. And they were, I mean, the whole game was Indianapolis snapping the ball with 1 second or less on the play clock. And on that drive, where you just needed to be different than that, they weren't. And in that particular situation, they were up at the line of scrimmage. He was under center, and they sat there. And what you got was they do snap the ball and run a play, but the Bills get credit for the timeout anyway, and the play doesn't count. And is on TV, you're watching Indianapolis lined up, thinking like, "Come on, this is your chance. You can get away with this." And you have McDermott at the bottom of the screen frantically. I mean, thank goodness somebody asked him about something that was actually decided in this game and not just only about feelings today. Like right there, he is frantically trying to get the timeout correctly so that the officials do the job they were supposed to have done anyway. And when your team loses, like you and I are about that, and it's up to Rivers. He's got to get the snap off. He had a chance to do that there and didn't. And then they end up one not even great play away from field goal range. One kind of easy play, a pass to Jack Doyle for 9 yards away from kicking a potential game-tying field goal.
Yeah, and maybe, just maybe, if they get that play off and we don't waste 2 minutes, 3 minutes, however long, like the Bills might have been, on their heels a little bit there. That's a fourth down play, right? And they convert it.
Yes.
And then there's all that. If they just snap the ball and Rivers throws it, who cares? Throws it through the tunnel. Yeah. And it's second and 10. They're just rolling, and the Bills are breathing heavy, and tensions are really high. And instead, everyone gets to take a breath, and the official is under the hood there forever. I know it's not a hood anymore, but whatever. He's looking for a long time, and they completed another pass, but it went for -2 yards with a fumble out of bounds backwards, and then that's it. So yeah, it was a pretty bad job there by a great veteran quarterback who had a really good day, but he was not real great right there, I wouldn't say.
That last drive, the first play is a good play. They get 11 yards on the first play. Then it's just slow. It's just death And after the 2-minute warning, so much time gets away from them. 3rd and 5 at the 30, 1:59, pass for 4. 4th and 1 at the 34, 1:32 left. Taylor, 3 yards. 1st and 10 at the 37, 1:05 left.
Right.
54 seconds, 2 plays, needing a field goal to tie? Come on.
Yeah. How do you not get the feel? Like, I really felt like there's almost no question this team is getting in field goal range. Maybe he'll throw me the ball. Rivers has done that too, right? So maybe that'll happen. Maybe that'll be how this game will end. But most of the time in a situation like that with that much time, I'm worried you're going to get a touchdown and not the field goal. And they didn't even get in field goal range with all that time. Like that, I mean, I know they had no timeouts, but they did not do a good job there.
Let's take a call. We've got some locker room sound coming up. We have James next on postgame. Hi, James.
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me, first-time caller. Really appreciate it. Been listening for a long time. This is really special for me. Tonight we watched outside with family. We had a fire going. It was fantastic. The family has been Bills fans for their entire life, and to be able to spend that with them, and be able to see like this 25-year streak broken was really special. I think we got our guy. Clearly Josh is performing well. Again, this team was fantastic. We faced a great opponent, clearly. The play calling, of course, was, again, this is a great team. If you look at all the teams in the AFC, clearly everybody deserves to be there. But what I wanted to share with you guys, and again, we listen to you every game. After every game, we turn on WGR.
Thanks.
This is really special for us. And I just want to share with you guys, I'm glad to be able to share this with you guys and my family, and this was very special.
Thank you, James. Nice of you
that means a lot,
to call and
really.
say that.
Yeah. Best to you and your family. We really appreciate you guys doing that all these years and hanging with us after all these games. It's been 25 years since a playoff win, and here we are again today, finally.
Right on. Let's go to the locker room now. Jordan Poyer, brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured? Call 1-800-8-million. Here's Poyer.
Can you just outline how critical the goal line stand was at the end of the first half? Because it was like a 14-point swing in the game with you having them come up empty and then the offense going down 96 yards for a score.
Yeah, we always like to say bad, but don't break in the red zone. A couple drives today, we were able to, they drove the field on us, but we were able to hold our own in the red zone, just turn around, 4th and goal, stop them, and then you see our offense come around and drive the ball 99 yards. That's complimentary football. That's what the coach has been talking about all season, really, but all week. It was it's a fun game to be part of.
How much deja vu were you having there on that last play?
None at all. I had all kinds of whatever out there.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Jordan, congrats on the win. I guess, what are the emotions like after winning this franchise's first playoff game since 1995?
I really got to kind of literally just walked off the field, so I really got to celebrate or kind of take it in. This is awesome, man, for the Bills organization, for the city, just to be able to play a home game and get a victory, man. Since 2017, we've been working at this, man. For a day like today to come out on top, we want to keep going. We're more hungry.
What was it like to run out of the tunnel and actually see fans out there?
It was wild, man. It was like, it was wild. It was a cool experience to see them again. I know they had a blast. I know my family had a blast, and we were just happy to put on this show for them today.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. Congrats.
Thanks, Hunter.
Hey there, Jordan. Adam Benini here in the press box. I just wondered what explanation you got on what looked like the Pascal Fumble there when he was ruled down. I'm just wondering, all the confusion down there.
Yeah, keep it real. I didn't really get a didn't really get a good explanation. The ref I was speaking to during the play, while they were reviewing it, he had thought, just from what he's seen on the TV, that I didn't touch him when he came down. I didn't feel like I touched him, especially if you've seen it a couple times. It might look different on the TV copy, but just trying to make a play. They made a play. It's probably tough for them to end the game on a situation like that where it's kind of 50-50. They weren't sure, so at the end of the day, we got the win. We got the victory. That's what happened.
All right, Jordan Poyer. I mean, there's really, as I see it, no explanation necessary. What they ruled was that he was touched down by Poyer, I assume, and that the fumble didn't happen. But I'd be curious for like Poyer's, just his thinking in that moment, punching the ball out like he did. Did he have some instinct there to wait for Pascal to get up? I mean, it's all in a split second, but he sees him start to get up, and maybe he does that way purposely, as opposed to just like sort of diving at him to keep him down. You see him start to get up, and immediately, like, it's so heady. That's what I'm saying. It's so heady.
Yeah.
To strip him in that split second. That's a great job. Didn't get credit for it ultimately, which is kind of unbelievable. I guess it's not, right? We see these kinds of calls all the time, but
it was really close. But it really did look like and maybe this is one of these things where. The one replay that shows his hand not on his back, you can't tell for sure if his knee is up. And then the one where you can definitely see his knee up is from the back, and you can't tell if Poyer's hand is on him yet or if it's still, yet to touch him. And, you just lean on the call on the field, and that's where you end up. I'd love to hear, an official explanation, because it really did look like the way they broke it down on the telecast seemed correct. Like that the player got up, he didn't give himself up, he got up and was off the ground in all the important ways when Poyer makes contact with him, not before. So, I mean, it's really close, but it seemed like it should have gone the Bills' way, and it's a good thing it didn't come back to hurt him.
Yeah, that's right. Indianapolis could not move the ball after that play. They only needed, 10 yards at that point? Probably. Didn't get it. All right, 27-24. The Bills are on to round 2. First team through. And they will be home next week, Saturday or Sunday, against either Pittsburgh, Tennessee, or Baltimore. Mike Schop and the Bulldog here, back with more of your calls next. This is the Buffalo Bills Radio Network.
Truist believes potential is everywhere, not just on Main Street, but all the way to the gridiron. That's why we're breaking down this week's most inspiring football moments and highlighting a team who came together and reached their potential. Yards of Potential, presented by Truist.
For the first time in league history, the playoff bracket was expanded to include 14 total teams. The Cleveland offense continued to roll in Week 17, putting up 24 points against Pittsburgh, earning them the 6th seed going into the playoffs.
Yards of Potential, presented by Truist.
Stanford Children's Health would like to remind parents not to delay routine care such as wellness checks, immunizations, and flu shots for their child. Postponing or neglecting your child's care can have short and long-term harmful effects. Safety protocols are in place to ensure the safety of our patients and families.
Before you drive the all-new Nissan Rogue, you gotta ask yourself, how rogue are you gonna go? We talking be one with nature in the desert rogue? Go snowshoeing in Alaska rogue? Or take the long way home just because kind of rogue? Just a question, but with 5 available drive modes, you're sure to find the answer.
Go rogue in the all-new, fiercely reimagined 2021 Nissan Rogue, now with the most standard safety features in its class. See Owner's Manual for important safety information. Auto-Pacific segmentation. 2021 Nissan Rogue versus latest in market competitors. Base models compared.
So why do teenagers play high school sports?
My reason why is a sense of purpose.
My reason why is love for the game.
My reason why is to inspire others.
One reason student athletes seldom mention is to get an athletic scholarship. They know that only 2% of all high school athletes are awarded a sports scholarship, and most of those are worth far less than the cost of tuition. So, why do they play?
My reason why is commitment.
My reason why is friendship.
A sense of purpose, love for the game, to help others, friendship. There are lots of great reasons to play high school sports and to participate in other high school activities like cheerleading, debate, and music. Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the NFHS and the New York State Public High School Athletic Association.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's your home, and I need to ask you a few favors. In the kitchen, there's a spider stuck between the window and the screen, and I know it's dead, and technically it's outside, but it's still freaking me out. Can you flick it out or something? Also, just to save some money, and it's super easy, could you bundle your home and car insurance with Geico? Last thing, could you take the holiday decorations down? Yeah, I'm one of those.
Geico. For bundling made easy, go to geico.com today.
So why do teenagers play high school sports?
My reason why is a sense of purpose.
My reason why is to inspire others.
One reason student athletes seldom mention is to get an athletic scholarship. They know that only 2% of all high school athletes are awarded a sports scholarship. So why do they play?
My reason why is friendship.
Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the NFHS and the New York State Public High School Athletic Association.
The players call the West Her Hotline. On our West Her Hotline is Jeff Skinner joining us here on WGR. The coaches call the West Her Hotline. On our West Her Hotline right now is Sabres head coach Ralph Krug. The insiders call the West Her Hotline.
Rob Ray joins us now on the West Her Hotline.
When the players call, when the coaches call, when the insiders call, the West Her Hotline. Brought to you by the West Her Automotive Group. Welcome to West Her, New York.
Nobody works harder to bring you the latest Bills and Sabres news than WGR. Every story, every play, every day, all year round. Over the air, online, and on social media. Nobody works harder. Just like Losi and Ganji, workers' compensation and personal injury lawyers. Working hard for hard-working Western New Yorkers.
Buffalo Bills Radio Network. Sports Update.
Fans in the stands for the first time this season, and they got to see a crazy finish firsthand in the wild card round between the Buffalo Bills and the Indianapolis Colts. The Bills emerged victorious 27-24, and it didn't come so easy. The Colts rattled off 14 points to end the game, giving them a legitimate chance to tie or take the lead in the final minutes of regulation. A very questionable call on a Phillip Rivers pass to receiver Zach Pascal kept Indy's chances very much alive in the waning seconds of the game. Replays seemed to indicate that Pascal appeared to get back on his feet after the catch, where Jordan Poyer punched the ball loose, recovered by Buffalo. The call on the field stood after a lengthy review, though, and the Colts kept on driving. Rivers missed on second and third down passes consecutively before having no choice but to shoot for the end zone, with Indy out of field goal range and only 4 seconds left on the clock. Enter Micah Hyde, who got even with Week 10 at Arizona.
The snap, Rivers back to throw. Waiting, going for all of it down the right sideline. The pass up in the air. It is knocked down, incomplete. Micah Hyde knocks it down, and the clock shows 0. The Bills advance. The Bills win it. In the last second, the Bills win it. 27-24. Unbelievable finish.
The ball hitting the ground signified a date with the divisional round and the Bills' first playoff win since 1995. Stats from the game: Josh Allen went 26 of 35 for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns. A massive second half propelled Stephon Diggs to a 6 for 128 slash line with a touchdown catch, and Tyler Bass etched himself into a couple of record books. He tied the team postseason mark with a 54-yard field goal, which also happened to be the longest successful attempt by a rookie in the playoffs in NFL history. The Bills now play the waiting game to see who they face next week, as it could either be the winner of Tennessee-Baltimore or Pittsburgh. The Titans and Ravens face off tomorrow at 1 o'clock, while the Steelers take on the Browns in the Sunday nightcap at 8:15. Scores from around the league are brought to you by the UPS stores of Western New York, home of the pack and ship guarantee. I'm Kyle Powell for the Buffalo Bills Radio Network.
You're listening to the Buffalo Bills Radio Network.
Blankenship in to make it closer. The kick is up, and the kick hits the right upright. No! It is no good.
It hit the right upright. No good. He just missed a 33-yard field goal attempt. And Rivers can't believe it on the Indianapolis sideline.
Difference in the game. Missed field goal by the Colts. 27-24 Bills on to round 2. Mike Schop and the Bulldog here. Post-game coverage continuing. Thanks for being with us. We've got Josh Allen coming up in a couple of moments. First, let's talk to Steven on the show. Hi, Steven. Welcome.
Not me.
Steven?
I appreciate being here. First of all, I just want to say what a huge win for Buffalo, for the city, for my family, for the team. I was at the Houston game last year, walking out disappointed, obviously. One thing that I talked about on my way out the stadium that I felt a lot through today's game is as much respect as I have for Dabble and the offensive play calling. It seems like he's got two playbooks. One when you're ahead, one when you're behind. He decides to get really conservative in these close games against teams that we're supposed to beat. And the one thing I can't help but think is, how do we win going to the playoffs when we decide to let off against these teams that we should be beating? And what do you think the Bills need to do to step it up into the playoffs if they want to go deep into the playoffs? Does it come from Dabble? Does it come from the offense? What do the Bills need to do? Thanks for having me.
Is today's game one that you're describing as like the easier team, or should have beaten like that? Like what game? We've just watched them score 24 touchdowns in like the last 5 games. What game are we? What's the reference? Oh, okay. Well, he's not there to answer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like they have not even been behind very often. In this game, they were behind 10-7 and got a stop on 4th and goal and went 96 yards down the field. Maybe that's only because the clock was what it was. It was the last 2 minutes. I don't know. Like I think it's always a guess with play calling. We've had this conversation hundreds of times maybe over the last 20 years. It's always a guess because you don't know what the quarterback saw. You don't know a lot about what the defense was showing or what kind of, whether receivers could get open. You just don't know any of that. And this game included. So I don't have anything to say about that. Yeah. You said it earlier. You said the thing I would have said if forced, which was if you're pressing me to give you something in the way of a criticism on it, you said it with that one possession. Yeah. At 10-7, the one before the one I just mentioned.
Yeah, I think they might have got a little gun shy there. That's Roberts. The whole thing was a horrible sequence. One of my least favorite sequences of the season, which is saying a lot because it didn't result in disaster or anything. But your All-Pro kick returner or second team All-Pro kick returner should not have run the ball out of the corner of the end zone in the first place. Then you get a penalty. They miss a face mask, by the way, on the guy with the ball getting tackled. Because at worst it should have been offsetting fouls, but whatever. You get kicked back because of the holding call or illegal use of hands or whatever the hell it was, and then it's 3 runs and I'm punting. That was a very tough sequence. But with that said, I think everyone watches these games and we all, I guess, experience them differently. Look back at the third quarter of this game. It's 2 field goals, settling for 2 field goals instead of getting touchdowns, and there's your game. That's why it's a tight game. So to lean on play calling as being the reason for that, I don't know. Give the opponent some credit to, sure, I agree that sequence bothered me, but it didn't really leave a mark as it turned out, and so maybe you got lucky there. But I don't know. I don't agree with the caller's assessment that there's, at least by the guidelines that he's laying out, this different, day ball depending on, the game. But of course, the game situation, the score of the game does dictate what you're going to do, what you're trying to accomplish. So I don't know. It's just funny.
Right, it should.
I'm kind of hung up on, with all due respect, and then he's just hammering them. I don't know. I don't quite see it. I don't think it's that pronounced. Really, I've got that one sequence that bothered me, and I think what we tend to do sometimes about these games is take that one moment of frustration where they handed it all 3 times in a row and punted, and say that was indicative of the entire game. Allen threw for 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, and ran for another one. I don't know. I didn't see a super conservative team. What I saw was maybe a quarterback that had a harder time seeing what he, normally is seeing, and he still threw for 326 yards.
that 3 plays, it's not worth dwelling on, but 2nd and 2, 3rd and 1, I mean, they're trying to get a first down. It wasn't even just like, it's not like they ran on 2nd and 10 in those 3 plays, but I don't know if I'll get to a point at all this year where I'm going to want to be critical of him. I mean, I have been blown away, and I think so is pretty much everybody who watches the league objectively has been blown away by this offense. You're talking 500 points. You've got a quarterback that was the worst quarterback in the league for completing passes to a guy who was second-team All-Pro. Like, I don't know what's going to happen next week. I do not expect to get to a point where I'm going to want to sit here with you and rag on him. I did not expect any of this year, and he's probably a head coach by a month from now somewhere. I mean, that's just an all-time great effort. Let's get back to the locker room, and we'll hear from Josh Allen here, brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured? Call 1-800-8-million. Allen.
Just to start off the game with the poor field position, how composed did the offense have to be early on?
I mean, we had to be really, really composed. Obviously on 3rd down, we got to be better. Just starting off slow, we got to find a way to pick that up. At the end of the day, we got the job done. I think the key point, turning point of the game, was that 4th and goal stop for our defense, driving down right before the half, getting a chance to double dip there. And we got field goals coming out of the half, but we got to find a way to get a touchdown there too. But we did enough to win the game. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and I know how you guys like to double dip going into halftime. But your first playoff win, your very first playoff win, Josh, just describe your emotions on today's victory.
I mean, it's obviously new territory for myself. But, it just gives us a chance to play next week. So I'm super, super pumped to keep playing.
Great win, man. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh, Matt Bove here. I guess what did you guys learn about yourselves today in such a close game, especially considering these last couple weeks have been a little bit more lopsided, at least on the scoreboard?
Yeah, well, we found a way to win the close one. On the offensive side of the ball, there's still some things that we need to clean up, myself especially. A couple of protections here or there, a couple of times with the ball. Can't take that sack fumble going in that late in the 4th quarter. I do want to give a shout out to Cole, though. 7 catches on his knee, gritting through it, being as tough as he's tough as nails. So to come out and play the way he did, it was awesome for us. He made a couple of crucial catches for us. I know he had one, maybe 2 first downs, but just the perseverance of this team. I think that's kind of what this team's embodied by.
And Josh, we've got this glass barrier here in the press box, so we don't necessarily hear everything as well as obviously you guys do down on the field. But what was it like with fans back in the building and just kind of extra energy?
It was crazy. I mean, for the team for fans to be allowed and experience that with this team, it would have been a shame if we couldn't do that. It was only 6,700, but that's more than zero. So I'm super excited for the fan base here, and I don't think guys really understand the meaning and the impact of winning a playoff game for this franchise. But at the same time, I think we're not in tune to that because we want to win more. One's not good enough for us, and we got to go find out a good way to put our best foot forward this week and try to go execute next week, whomever they play.
Josh Allen, great day. Again, the Bills advance past Indianapolis. Let's check in with our fantasy fans, Bulldog, presented by Nextiva, by Premcom, the official telephone systems provider of the Buffalo Bills and Sabres, who, by the way, have a scrimmage coming up in less than an hour, and a game on Thursday.
Power your goal last night. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead, please.
Fine. Yeah. Power your business connection with Premcom. Fantasy-wise, I'm thinking about this game that's happening now. You're playing in some tournaments with the Draft Sharks guys. Cam Akers was my contribution to this group, and he is having a dream game for the Rams so far, fantasy-wise. Rams are up 20-10 in the 2nd quarter. Jared Goff in relief of John Wolford, who got hurt. Goff can't even really throw. I'm not saying, at all. I'm saying, like, with the injury he has. I'm not taking a shot there, Bulldog.
Right.
But
they're up. Yeah, they're up. They got a pick six on a great play there. Then gave up a real quick long one to DK Metcalf, and now just scored again. And that was Akers that scored there. So, yeah, they're up 10, and it's almost halftime.
He's over 120 yards. Or actually, just as I say that, 3-yard loss. He's just under 120 total yards after that play in the first half. Rams 20, Seattle 10. No Alex Smith tonight for Washington. Taylor Heineke will start against Tampa Bay in the third game tonight. Mike Schop and the Bulldog here. We'll have more next. This is the Buffalo Bills Radio Network.
When kids need to see their pediatrician, it's rarely convenient. With